Welcome to Invictus Motors. We've got Andrew who's travelled from Cheltenham. He's purchased this gorgeous 911 Targa 4S. Andrew, first question, why? Why this generation? Why a Targa?
Well, actually, I've got a very specific answer for you. I don't like the new Targas that have got the traditional soft roof in the middle or the panel in the middle.
Yeah.
I much prefer that one with the hatchback and the sliding roof. I don't think there is another, I mean, apart from the 996 and 997, I don't think there's another hatchback Targa, is there?
No,
so
there
yeah,
isn't.
so
993, 996, and they finished it at the
yeah. So
997.
this is the latest of the hatchbacks, so to speak. And so I was really from a practical point of view, that's the one I wanted. And then with the PDK gearbox and everything, it's like
that's it. And how have you found us so far? I mean, because it's very interesting. You watched our video, you saw me explain the paperwork, and you know, you've transferred all the money before
done it
the
all
car.
online. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, but I have to say, I'm also probably a bit unusual. I bought my first car online in 1994, sight unseen, across borders, shipped it to where I was. So so.
Wow.
It's not unusual for me, I have to say.
Yeah. But you do your homework, I guess.
Absolutely.
On the business.
You've got to if you're doing that. Yeah.
Let's just jump in.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't want to slide it across into complete manual, you can use these buttons to shift down. You're fine, my side. My only issue with this generation Targas is just if the roof is not being looked after or if it's not being serviced over the years, as you would expect
Apparently they can get a bit sticky.
They can get a bit sticky, but this one you can open, close it as many times as you like. Make sure when you're opening and closing it, have the engine running so that there's enough voltage going to the electric motors at the back.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I run a race transporter. Which has got a tail lift for the cars at the back.
Yes, yeah.
And exactly the same system. If you don't have the engine running for a while you're doing the tail lift and putting cars in, by the time you want to leave, you suddenly realise you can't start the engine.
Oh, how do you get around the problem with the race transporter with a car?
Now you just you've got to run if you're actually running the lift up and down and loading cars and taking them out and doing things, then make sure the truck engine's running if you're going to be doing that for a while. Because otherwise, like I say, you're then in the embarrassing situation being in a paddock somewhere and you can't get the truck moving.
Just over your life, how many cars have you had?
Oh, don't ask.
Have you counted?
No, and it depends on what you mean by how many cars have you had as well, because I ran a small import business in Finland, importing Caterhams and other cars, and I probably imported maybe 25 Caterhams into Finland in my own name, if you know what I mean. So I would have driven over to the UK, picked them up, know. So I've had quite a few.
Very niche line of work. How did you get into importing Caterhams to Finland?
Well, it was as usual. It was by accident. It was I have a saying I often repeat: if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. It was simply, and maybe you'll watch this video. I had a really good friend, who's a Finnish lawyer, and I wanted to import a Caterham into Finland. And he helped me, and we worked together, and we got the Caterham into Finland, and we've been lifelong pals ever since. And then what happened was, driving around in Finland, people would say to me, how did you get that into Finland? Because the laws are really complex about importing that type of car. So I'd say to them, can you help me?
Oh, wow.
So I was, okay. And then I got made redundant from the company I was working for. And so it was kind of like, why don't we give this a go and see if we can make a business out of it?
Wow.
It was, I would describe it as a profitable hobby rather than a business. It was difficult, let's say, to find customers in Finland that made the business worthwhile. I mean, and I was talking to Morgan Radical, Ariel, Caterham, all the British sports car manufacturers trying to get their business into Finland, and it was just really hard.
And what do you do at the moment now?
So now I'm mostly, let's say, what keeps the wolves from the door is I'm a landlord. So when I came back from Finland, I bought a couple of, if you watch Homes Under the Hammer, it was pretty much that game. I bought one house, absolutely derelict, dirt cheap. I can't remember. I think it was 23,000 or something.
Wow.
Spent about 15 on it, and doing it myself, working in there, living literally with the rats in the property.
Wow.
And then when we'd finished, revalued it at 85, got a mortgage, got my cash back, went and did another one, and so on.
So full.
So now running 8 HMOs, and I think half a dozen, let's say, normal buy-to-let properties with families living in them and so on.
That's terrific. I mean, and I'm sure you're an amazing landlord as well. I know landlords get a bit of stick, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Unnecessarily, because they don't highlight the good ones, but very easy to pick onto the bad ones.
Yeah.
Your 911 journey, I mean, here you are at this stage of your life, first Porsche. I thought it was your third one, but obviously I confused that with another customer.
I've had a Caterham sort of Lotus 7 type car since 1996.
Yeah.
But I've had some epic journeys in that car.
Yeah.
So I've driven the London to Athens rally. I've driven it across America. I've been to every European country in it, bar Malta and Cyprus. So it's been to every continental European country.
Super.
Loads of trips to the Alps, etc., etc. But it's a proper hardcore driver's car. It's not for the faint-hearted.
No.
And unfortunately, my wife is a bit of a faint-hearted breed, and so it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll get out of the Caterham and we'll find something that we could travel Europe in.
And that brought you to a 911.
And I've often looked at 911s. I was fortunate enough, I got a very good friend in Colorado, and he let me loose in his, I'm pretty sure it was a Carrera 4 he had at the time. He let me loose in that one day in the Rockies, outside of Denver.
Wow, what a scene to picture. But okay, so he kind of let you loose on these gorgeous scenic roads in Colorado.
Well, to be fair, what had happened was...
what happened there?
A long and complicated story, but I'll keep it short. So basically what had happened was I was living in Finland, he was living in America, and we got stuck one day, one weekend in the UK. And I said to him, I know, I'll get us a Caterham, which I think I borrowed from a friend, and we went to the North Yorkshire Moors in the Caterham for the weekend.
Okay.
And he was absolutely blown away by it. I mean, I remember him sat next to me saying, this is the stuff of dreams for, and I'm like, okay. But my mum and dad were living in North Yorkshire at the time, so for me it was just like...
What month of the year was this?
It was summer, it was June, July-ish.
Okay, bloody hell, Yorkshire in summer. It's
fantastic
heaven on earth,
roads.
isn't it?
So when I ended up in Colorado one weekend, it was kind of like payback. It was like, you made a dream come true for me in Yorkshire. Here's the keys to the Porsche. Off you go. I was like, okay.
Shall we try this in sports mode and switch on sports exhaust? Do you want the sports suspension stiffened, or?
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, perfect. Now it's stiffened, all sports mode.
Picks up its heels, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you still sort of wheel and deal in Caterhams at the moment?
No, I left all that behind in Finland.
Do you still get any offered from your contacts? Any people reaching out saying,
"Yeah,
hey, I'm looking to sell mine"?
No, but I have had, let's say, various requests from the petrol head community in Finland to help them sort things out. Typically with deals, we had one recently where a deal had gone slightly sour in the UK.
Yeah.
And somebody basically paid, like me, they'd paid in advance, sent about $5,000. This was just for some AMG car parts.
Yep.
Never got shipped.
Yeah. Sorry about these. We get them a lot here.
We get back up to speed fairly quickly though, don't we?
It does. 385 bhp, 420 newton meters of torque.
Yeah.
I believe the 0 to 62 is about 4.7 seconds.
Yeah.
And the top speed is 181 miles an hour. So what an interesting, journey you've had over the years. And what kind of brought you to the Porsche brand? What is it that you found alluring about Porsche? You could have bought anything.
I would say principally people who I know, I was going to say I have known, people who I know who have Porsches, but have also been on some of the trips that I've been on, for example, in Caterham type cars, some Westfields, some Caterhams, etc. For example, there's one guy who's also an ARDS instructor, I think, a racing driver. Instructor who's run a Porsche 911 Carrera 4, and I've had conversations with him about ownership, what's it like, etc., etc. So it's sort of kind of like okay, and in some ways it's not. I'm not sure how to put it. It's not as brash, let's say, as some other
brands,
quick cars from other brands, or indeed other brands could be perceived to be. I think the 911's a little bit more subtle. Plus, if you want a car like this that goes this quick, it's pretty unusual to get them in a 2+2 configuration. So having that,
we'll turn right into there. It is unusual. You've got grandkids there?
I'm flying out to Finland to see my third grandchild, who was born 20 days ago, so just less than 3 weeks ago.
Okay. You still have family from what you've just said?
Yeah, so I lived in Finland for 25 years, and
then we'll do the next round.
My kids were born there and still live there. But kids. The eldest is 39, and the two lads are, I'd say, closer to 30 and 29. So,
What's the dream for this? Is this to keep forever?
I don't know.
Or is it just to get into the Porsche?
Yeah, it could be a long-term experiment. It could be a lifer. I don't know.
So what brought you to the 997.2? I know you said about the roof, but you could have bought the Generation 1. Yeah. You could have bought the 993. You could have bought the 996.
But, there's a certain amount, as you said in the video, explaining this car, I think part of the value proposition is nothing in life is certain, but there is certainly a higher risk with the 997 version 1 that you're going to have some engine work done, let's say, whether it be IMS or whatever. I tend to think some of those things are a bit inflated and a bit overblown, but nevertheless,
which I agree with.
Nevertheless, it's out there, and also, I don't know how long I'm going to stay in this. So, if I were to buy the 997 Gen 1, I'm then going to try and sell a 997 Gen 1.
Yes.
Whereas I think it's easier to sell a 997 Gen 2.
Yes.
I'm not knocking your sales abilities. You know exactly what I mean. I think as a product,
correct.
The 997 Gen 2 is probably perceived to be a better deal. So that's what led me to it. And as we said before we left,
thank you.
The hatchback configuration. I'll be honest, I could have maybe compromised on the hatchback, but I would have needed something with the pan roof.
Yep. Yeah.
And this one came up with exactly the sort of spec I was looking for, so didn't have to compromise.
Yeah. If this is open, you
Yeah.
can't open the hatchback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can operate it through here, by the way. If you want to
Yeah.
open it up, go
Yeah.
ahead. Be my guest.
So,
Just the
hang on. No, that's
just down.
it's that one.
Yeah, just hold it down.
Yeah. But you can also stop it wherever you want, can't you?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the compromise a little bit, is the rear view, isn't it?
Correct. And if you want to bring it back up, sometimes they're a bit slow to come up, but just have the engine running.
Yeah. Yeah. Give it plenty of volts. Yeah.
And that's that. And
then
that's
we've
the
got-
blind.
Yeah.
And if you come with me, you could still leave the engine running.
Mhm.
So I could, yeah. I had a feeling you would try, but take your time.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you the rest of the car. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know the heated seats, etc. Sports button. The owner's manual is in here. There's a bit of a touch-up that's there as well. Let me show you the back. So you've got 3 buttons:
Yeah.
front bonnet, rear bonnet, rear boot
Hatch.
lid hatch, and rear bonnet.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Yeah.
just go through it with me? This is obviously the engine bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. These lights are all perfect. They're not cracking or nothing untowards there. Be careful when you're shutting this so you don't break that tail light.
Right.
And this is the hatch.
And it's just gas lift. Yeah.
And if you ever wanted to fold these, they fold really nicely.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
they go, just to give you a bit of extra space. And obviously these are hydraulically closing, so if you just press this, they
Oh, it
get
pulls it
sucked
in.
in themselves. Your bags, do you want to put that in the car now?
Yeah. Might as well. Yeah.
There's nothing else I wanted to say. Thank you for doing the video.
No, thank
Honestly,
you. Yeah.
Pack
So
up.
where, that's going on YouTube, is
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'll share the link with you.
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of people are very curious and interested, just the kind of people that buy them, their lifestyle,
Yeah.
what kind of gets them to make a decision to buy a product like this, and it's very inspiring. And this is the kind of content that actually gets watched a lot more than a car review,
it? Right.
because people want to see a real life person owning
Yeah.
one of
Why
these.
did I buy that? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the European trip, family, the 2+2 layout,
Yeah.
you know, it just reinforces those ideas and those ideals. Yeah. But I'll let you pack up, because
Smashing. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
go. Yeah.